Hey guys, meteorologist Andrew Book Michael here. I am in the studio right now. I'm doing the noon weather today, but we just got the 11 a.m. update from the National Hurricane Center, just so figured we would jump on here and talk about that for a brief second. I am getting our getting something set up for you guys so that way we can show you exactly where the latest is with all of these storms. But man, there is so much to talk about. We've got two hurricanes. We've got Maria, which is now a Category 3 hurricane. We've also have Jose, which will be impacting our weather pretty significantly here in central Ohio. So what I'm doing right now is I am updating a scene here that we can really give you a big, broad view of what we're looking at, of the different storms moving through. So let me go ahead and bring you guys over here to the weather computer and show you exactly what we are seeing with these storms. So the first thing I'm going to show you guys is kind of a track of these last few systems. Then we're going to dive into Jose. But again, we have Category 3 hurricane now as of the 11 a.m. update. It's 11:02 a.m. So we just got this update, and it's really kind of crazy how busy the Caribbean has been so far. So let me go ahead and bring you guys over here. So bear with me one second while I switch this camera. Go. So here is what we are looking at. So we are again Category 3 hurricane with Maria, but look at the Caribbean, how much has already went through there this season so far. So we had Harvey go through the very southern part of the Caribbean earlier. Then we had Irma come through the very northern Leeward Islands. Barbuda hit with that Category 5 storm, and that basically went right north of Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Cuba, and then made that cut up into the United States through the Keys. We had Jose just barely miss the Caribbean, at least the eye of it, but that basically went up here and did a little loop-de-loop. And now we've got Maria. So Maria, again, at Category 3, we'll get to the specifics on that coming up here in one second, but likely to strengthen to a Category 4, stay as a Category 4 over Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and eventually up towards Turks and Caicos Islands. So let's go ahead and jump to the next thing here. Let's first talk about Jose and how it's going to impact our weather here in Central Ohio. So that is a Category 1 hurricane right now, wind speeds of 75 miles per hour. So it is barely a Category 1 hurricane. I see some questions coming in. If you guys want to throw those on there, I will be answering those as we go throughout this little live broadcast. So what's going to be interesting is how this is going to be impacting our weather here in Central Ohio. So they do have some tropical storm warnings already in effect over the portions of New Jersey, New York. But what's going to be interesting is this is going to sit out here over the East Coast. But what it's going to do is we have a cold front coming in from the northwest, and it's going to block that rain for us here in Central Ohio. And I'll show you that on Futurecast too. So the cold front that's coming through for us is going to get halted as it tries to move through. Let's go down now to Maria real quick. Again, a Category 3 hurricane now, making its way towards the northern Leeward Islands here. Guadalupe going to be under the gun for this storm. Let's widen this out real quick and switch this over to our current track. So with Maria currently a Category 3 hurricane, moving its way, you can see, but really just impacting these northern Leeward Islands once again. Even though Barbuda probably will not be direct hit like it was with Irma, it will be getting the outer bands of this storm for sure. So let me go ahead and clear off the satellite and radar, and you can see we've already got some warnings and watches. We'll talk about that in the next scene coming up. But currently 120 mile per hour winds, wind gusts up to 150. So let's put this into motion for you. It moves its way right over Puerto Rico early Wednesday morning as a Category 4 storm, likely with winds at about 140, 150 miles per hour, and then right to the east of the Bahamas. And as we zoom this out a little bit, you can see that likely it's going to be missing Florida, which is good news. We'll keep an eye on that for sure, though, as we head into the next few days. As mentioned, up here along the East Coast, we have tropical storm warnings. We also have tropical storm watches. These go through the middle and end of the week. And then down here in the Caribbean, you can see there's hurricane warnings for some of the northern Leeward Islands and tropical storm watches. Even a hurricane watch already for Puerto Rico, even though it's not going to hit for about 48 hours from now. But definitely a very strong storm. Real quick, while I have everybody on here, I want to show you what Futurecast has for us, because as mentioned, for us here in Central Ohio, our weather is going to be affected by this because this cold front is going to be coming in from Indiana, and it's going to get stalled out and basically just sit right over western Ohio and not let this rain really move any farther east. So as we go through the day on Futurecast here, let me put this in motion. So here we go. Let me animate this. So notice the rain starts moving into western Ohio. This is at noon today. Tries to get a little bit closer to Columbus, but there's like a buffer. It's just kind of squeegeeing all this precipitation back out to the west. So we may get a little bit in Columbus, but I tell you what, if you live in Fayette, Madison, Union, or Hardin County, you have a better chance of seeing rain today than what we will here in Columbus. Tomorrow, it starts to fire right back up. We start getting some rain out in western Ohio, and it tries to get a little bit more into Columbus, but it's still going to have a little bit of a tough time. So that's the latest. Let me go ahead and flip this around real quick. It's trying to pull up these little bugs. Let me, one second, flip this around. Let's go through some of these questions here. So we're getting a lot of questions. So I'm going to try to answer these as many questions as we can. So someone's saying, how many hurricanes has that been so far? Let me pull up the exact stats. I know we're on Maria, obviously, but as far as hurricanes, that would put us at 1, 2. We had Franklin, Gert, Harvey, Irma, Jose, Katia, and now Maria. So that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 named hurricanes for the season so far. I have friends in Fort Thomas, and they are devastated. Is this storm going to be heading towards them? Unfortunately, they will be seeing some of the effects from this, Sean. Track looking similar to Irma, or is it a little farther north and south? So Paul, if you just joined, I pulled up, let me show you that again, because it's a really interesting graphic where it kind of overlays everything all together. So it is a slightly different path from Irma. And let me go ahead and switch this around so that way I can show you guys. It's better to show you than to just tell you. So Irma's path is this one right here. So Irma basically punched straight across the Caribbean and then took that turn. So this is a slightly more angled path instead of that direct punch through the Caribbean. So Maria's path is a little different, and it was widen it out a little bit more. So Irma was this one right here. Irma was boom, and it punched right in. So Maria's got more of an angled tilt, so once it gets up here and the winds in the upper part of the atmosphere start to catch it, it's going to keep it out to sea, which is exactly what happened with Jose. So it is a similar path. It will cross paths. Irma and the Maria path will cross their tracks, likely somewhere north of the Dominican Republic. Is Maria going to hit the United States at all? Right now, Annie, at least 5 days out, it's not expected to hit the continental United States. Some of the forecast models bring it close to the Carolinas, but with the latest tracks, it may stay completely out to sea. So, Crystal asking, why so many hurricanes this year? The sea surface temperatures are extremely warm. So let me pull that up for you. So the sea surface temperatures here, very, very warm. When we're in the mid-80s, and some places here have been reporting close to 90-degree temperatures. When the water's that warm, it helps to fuel these storms. They need that very warm water. So there you go. Headed to the eastern seaboard. Yeah, both of them are going to be off in the eastern seaboard. We'll have to keep an eye on them if they do tend to track a little bit more inland. So what other questions do we have here? Oh no, please, let it go out and die off. Jody, I wish there was some way that we could do that, but unfortunately these storms are massive. They're equivalent to about 10,000 atomic bombs, to put that in perspective for you. So what about Lee, David asking. So Lee, let's go back out here and let's show you Lee. So let me see which satellite would have Lee on it. Hold on one sec. Let's see if this one is far enough out to pick up Lee. So Lee, here's Lee. Lee's disorganized. Lee is a tropical storm at this point, and Lee is expected to fizzle out. As a matter of fact, it's tropical depression, so it's not even a tropical storm. It's just basically an organized cluster of thunderstorms with current winds. Let me see what Lee's current winds are. 40 miles per hour, 40 nautical knots. So it's not a very strong storm. How long, let me see some of these other questions, guys. So Bill asking, how long will we have cooler weather? Well, it's above normal for us, Lee. We're going to be about 8 degrees above normal, so we're not actually cooler. Not sure if you're in Ohio asking that or not, because it's actually above normal for us. There are more hurricanes this year because of a non-El Nino year. It definitely plays in a factor there, Mark, because we don't have a lot of strong winds in the upper part of the atmosphere. So what I can do here, let me just go ahead and add something real quick. So pardon me while I go ahead and edit this scene. What I want to do is put on something to help show the picture. So let me add wind particles, and one sec. I'm editing this while we're on the fly here. So we're gonna go and put winds at 500 millibars. So seeing camera again, bear with me one second. So here are the winds currently up 500, or halfway up in the atmosphere essentially. So what's going to happen is one of the steering forces, once Maria hits these winds here, it's going to help push this up farther north, which is why it's going to help do that turn. And notice with El Nino, normally you'll get some really strong winds coming out of the west, which weakens some of the storms, and there's no big forcing from the west initially, apart from what's right here between Cuba and Haiti. That's going to be the main driving force with Maria once it starts cutting up inland and tries to ride some of that. So, so let's see, what other questions do we have on here? There's Marks. Hey Buck, other day there was a line of clouds that had a brown tint to them. Without being able to see it in person, my guess is it was probably somewhere near sunrise or sunset, so that's why you may have seen that, Patty. That would be my guess, just the kind of the sun hitting it at a different angle. Is the water there much warmer this year? Yes, it is much warmer because last year was a fairly quiet year, and that's why these sea surface temperatures are so warm, and the winds in the upper part of the atmosphere are not a huge driving factor for these storms. Wow, that's good. So Maria going to hit the Carolinas. It may, Barbara, it's going to be at least a week before it does that. Sean Holloway asking global warming. The water temperature is much warmer than normal. I'll throw that out there. What happened to the K? Katia. Katia was the storm that hit over, it was a hurricane category 2 that hit over Mexico about a week ago. So that one kind of already hit and fizzled out. Will it hit South America? The answer to that, Mario, is no. Snow this winter? Yes, Rick, we will have snow this winter. So the difference between knots and miles per hour, it's a different ratio. So let's say 100 knots is equal to about, let's see, 100 knots would be equal to about 115 miles per hour. So it's just a different way of measuring it. This activity going to affect Ohio winter. Not necessarily affect Ohio winter, but what it will do is once, let me pull back up here. Track 4. So what it will do with this storm, as it pulls up here, so Jose is basically going to sit out here over the east coast, and we have a cold front trying to move through now. That can't go anywhere because Jose is a huge storm, so we're going to basically see these spotty showers over the next couple of days over our neck of the woods. Connie asking, what will winter be like? Well, there is a La Nina setting up, so for La Nina we are going to be dealing with milder temperatures than normal. Could see a little bit higher precip because of that, but somewhat close to normal, but milder temperatures. Let's see, any chance it will hit Florida from Pam? For the other storm, not as likely to hit Florida because the track of it will be cutting up. There's some strong forcing in the upper part of the atmosphere that will likely cut it. And you can see the spaghetti plots here. These other forecast models all have it doing that turn. So it could, but not likely. So vacation to North Carolina next week from Shauna. Yeah, it would be a bit dicey because this will be making its way closer to the Outer Banks. I think, and you know what? Let's just try to. Let me go into the editor here and let's put this forecast model out even a little bit farther. So let's go. Bear with me as I tweak this a little bit. So let's go ahead and add. So today let's add 248. Let's see what the forecast models show here. So this goes up north, and then let me widen this out. Sorry, one sec. I got to adjust some of the things here to do these. So it does have, most of these models have it going out to sea a little bit more, but this would be a week and a half from now. So this would be next Wednesday, staying more out to sea. So most of the forecast models are out to the east there, Shauna. I got friends in the Bahamas. Are they okay, Tammy? This storm will be moving just either close to or just to the east of the Bahamas. So I'm sure that they are being very cognizant of what's going on with this forecast with this storm, but it does look like it will be impacting the Bahamas. Maybe some high surf, hopefully not another landfall, but unfortunately with the path of this storm now as a Category 3, it will be making landfall over some of these islands. Puerto Rico could be getting one of the worst hit from this island because 145 mile per hour winds when that moves through early on early Wednesday. So hopefully I answered most of the questions on. We'll see you guys on ABC 6 News at noon today. So thanks to everyone that stopped by. We'll see you guys on ABC 6 News at noon. Any updates, we'll get those to you guys, and we'll have your Central Ohio forecast as well. Have a great Monday, everyone, and see you around.